Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Phoebe Nubisi and today we are going to create a purchase request agent. Yes, you heard it right. I will present to you the agent purpose. What is solved is normally in companies, sometimes we'll use policies for procurement and for purchases, but they are not enforced. That means they exist, but sometimes the documents are spread around the folders, and it's not easy for people that request items to have access to those and to even know that those policies exist. The policy is there to say who are able to submit new requests, what are the reinforcement of the code. That means if you submit a code, what are the requirements? Maybe it needs some dates, some valid dates, some verified and approved vendors and stuff like that. What are the exceptions? What are the constraints and all of those kind of stuff? Yes. And also the second business problem is that the process is very slow. The process is slow and it goes sometimes from some forms that people fills, they email it or they send Teams messages to people, and then the procurement teams will check the policy in place and then will route it for the correct person that does the approval, or sometimes the approval routing is automatic once it creates the record, but it's so slow. And also sometimes we have human error when we create the purchase request. When we submit, sometimes we do not put all the calculations, all the right component, and it can create some error in the audit that can be caught long after but not immediately, and there's no consistency. And procurement team, they spend most of the time on administration, on checking what are the missing inputs, what are the missing documents, what to correct the submissions with the right purchasing note, the right requirement date, and stuff like that, and explaining the policy to the requester instead of focusing on the strategy part, that is managing the relationship with the suppliers and reducing the cost. So the business value of this agent is that the policy is always there, it's accessible through SharePoint, and it will help, is embedded to the agent, and it will help to reinforce the policy whenever a person submit a request. Yes, so we will go and I will share with you the document where I have shown the global architecture of this app, of this agent. Yes. So what it does, it verifies the submissions, if anything is missing, if there's wrong vendor name, and then it also automates the vendor validation. It checks if there are duplicates or if the vendor is authorized or no. We have a table that has the vendor's name. Some are blocked, some are approved. We will play along this. So if a vendor is blocked, it shouldn't pass. And then it also check if this purchase request is a duplicate. That means it's already done, so that we don't do it again. And then it also double check. It eliminates some self-service status visibility where people will do it manually. So here we want to automate everything using Dataverse. We have a solution that has few tables. We have approval list. The approval list, it has the name of the people that approve, their names, the department. Especially for this use case, we don't focus on the department, we just focus on the monitoring part. So that means we have those people, we have their level of approval based on the minimum amount and the maximum amount. We have that table, we have the approval table where we have the people that have approved and what way their decision. And then we have the attachment where we have the files, this table, whether images or files. And then we have the purchase request details that has the line items, all the items that have been purchased, the quantity, the price of each one, the total pricing as well. And we have the purchase request that has the purchase order in general. So that's what we are going to work on this agent. Yes. So the business value, it helps to have faster approvals. It helps to reinforce the policy compliance and submission. The agent, once you give it a rule and an instruction, it follows it. It doesn't hear some explanation. We will play along the agent and you will see how it really have some gates, some rules that it follows, and there's a consistent approval routing, and also there's a full audit trails, and yes, and there's a self-service tracking, so we know at each time we did what. Yeah, there's the history for everything. So for the architecture, the agent, it uses the new Copilot Studio experience and the new orchestrator. So in each turn, the agent has its instructions and select the right skills. We have many skills like the intake guidance that collects the purchase request field in the structure sequence. And then we have the policy compliance that makes sure that the purchase request that we are trying to do is following the guidance of the policies or the requirements of those policies, and flag those that are not conformed. Maybe having an expired, let's say the code that you are submitting has an um, expired due date or required date, or have an non-compliance formatting, a name of a vendor that is not approved or allowed. And then we have a validation coaching that interprets some results of the flows that we have. We have some submission review that gives some pre-summary and have some confirmation gates. And we have some knowledge, of course, in SharePoint. We have our policies, they are right here. We have one here that I can open for you guys. Is the procurement and purchasing policy. And here we can see that it always says that we need the requester, we need the manager, we need all those entities, and it tells the field that are required. It tells about the vendor validation, that it should be active or approved, and it says that sometimes we need the preferred one depending on the business need. It gives more information, and it says codes must be comparable, current, legible, attributable to an identifiable supplier. So it gives all the rules. It talks about the approval routing as well. And it says to record each decision, approval date, comments, escalation. So we have all of this, and it gives some prohibited practicing committing the organization before approval. Yes, so it gives all those requirements that we need. Let's open the code requirement guide as well. The code requirement guides, let me make it look bigger. The code requirement guides, it says to check whether this contract exists, if it's a preferred vendor, check all those elements, what qualifies as an acceptable quote, supplier is legal, yes. It has a quote date, clear description, currency, taxes, freight fees, warranties, all of this. It says what is unacceptable is a quote that doesn't have a date and a verbal price, and that have different quantities without normalization, expiring prices, and all of those sorts. So it has a full checklist that the agent should review. That's very important. So now if we go back, so we have the agent, it has an instruction, and it calls some skills, we have a knowledge, and we have some flows. Some flows are really deterministic. They are just there to do some specific workflow that we have predefined. They take some entries and they give some output to the agent, like validate the vendor. We have flow for that. We have a flow that determines the required document. Depending on the request type of the code, we have many request type. If I go to the agent, we have many request type, like we have standard, sole source, emergency, blanket. Depending on the request type and the amount of the request, the code, this flow will say what are the requirements in terms of document. Maybe you will need one code, maybe you will need two code, maybe you will need different type of documents. Yes, and then we check if it's a duplicate request, we calculate the total, and then we get the approval route, like what's the maximum level, who are the approvers. Yes, and then a user on demand can also check what's the status of the request of the person. Here are all the tables that we are using, and we have some background flow as well. When an approver approve or reject a request, we have all of those. When they approve, we have the final status update, we have the requester notification, and we have the procurement notification. So I have all the steps here, and that's what we are going to build right now. This is the steps that I've done so far, and I will jump straight into the agent. The beauty with this culture is that with the agent, I've made a lot of testing and evaluation. And what was fun at some point is that I was able to even ask the agent, let me scroll down. I was able to ask the agent that tell me in terms of step what are the policy and how they are influencing your take and stuff like that. The agent is able to explain to you. So even based on the instruction that you gave to the agent can give you the business problem. That's what I presented to you guys at the start. The business value, like here it says, the business value is compliance by default, not by training. Policy is embedded in the agent. Every submission is automatically checked against the quote requirement guide, the procurement policy, and the emergency purchase from requirements. And it talks about also speed without sacrificing control. Audit ready from submission, everything is auditable, and reduce duplicate spending and lower cost per transaction. Yes, and consistency across site and department. Yes, it says this agent turns procurement policy from a document people ignore into a process the organization enforces automatically, making every purchase faster, compliant, auditable by design. That's powerful. Now, let me walk you through the instructions. So these are the instructions that I gave to this agent. You are the purchase request agent. Guide employees through creating and submitting purchase requests. Follow the steps in order. Never skip steps. Never write to Dataverse before step 8, confirmation. These are the skills. They are right here. We have all the list of the skills. And then those are the flows that are available also. And then I say step 1, intake call, use these skills. The purchase request skill is right here. And then step 2, validate the vendor. Use that flow. I have a flow for that. I can open it, validate vendor. I can open that flow. So this is the flow that validates the vendor. It's loading. So this is the flow. So what it does, it receives the vendor name or the vendor number. It query the database, the vendor database, and then it takes two rows. So if the vendor appeared twice, that's a problem because we need the vendor to appear just once. And then it makes some gates of verification that if the length is 0, that means the vendor does not exist, not found. If the length is equal 1, that means we can proceed. But if it's more than 1, it gives an error that we found multiple vendors. Please provide more specific vendor ID because we need just one to use. So that's the flow for that. And then we have determine required document. So let's open that flow as well. What does this flow does? What does this flow do? So this flow, it takes the request type. I showed you guys the request type that we have. We have a standard request, a source, emergency, blanket. They are reinforced by the policy as well. And we have the total amount. So based on that, we have a gate here that if the amount is less than 5,000, we need just an information code or purchase receipt. That's what we need. But if it's greater than 5,000 and less than 15,000, we need minimum 2 written vendor quotes. And if not, we need some formal competitive quotes. If it's more than $15,000, we need formal competitive quote plus procurement sign off. And then we have a second gate that check the request type and have some additional information to add. Like here, it says you also need a source of justification form. I've made this step statics, but we can also create a SharePoint list or a Dataverse, like the approval list, to have all those request type and um, amount, amount range, and then have the requirement documents. We can have that or also have them inside the policy document, but here I made the statistics just for this demo. It's valid, yeah. So the next flow that we have is the approval route. The approval route, what it does, it takes the amount, and based on the amount and the department, yes, the amount in the department, it gets the list of the approvers. But here I take only the last approval to make the most simple. I take the last approval, and the last approval, that means the approval that has the highest range here. The highest range here will approve that request based on the amount. So that means if the amount is less than 5,000, we will have level 1. If the amount is less than 15,000 and more than 5,000, it will be level 2. Stuff like that. So that's what we are following here for the purpose of this demo. So it takes the department, the total amount. But since I haven't filled the department here in the query, I don't really use the department in my query. I only use the minimum amount and the maximum amount, and I return the final response to the agent. That's for the demo. And then the last one, submit the purchase request. We have a flow for that as well. I've created the flow. For this demo, I made a more simple one that we will use. We will use a skill, but this flow as well work. I will not use this because I have not inserted the creation of the approval steps here. So to simplify, I will close those windows. To simplify our demo right now, what I said is that first step, do the intake call with the purchase request intake skill is right here. It collects the request type, the vendor, the site, the business justification, the currency, the priority, and the purchase lines, the attachment as well. And then validate the vendor, step 2, step 3, call to determine what are the requirement document, and then if it's a quote, consult the code review guidance skill. The code review guidance skill asks to check the policy knowledge that I showed you, the policy knowledge to this one, the checklist to make sure that our code that we upload are compliant, and then calculate the line totals. I have a flow for that, but I made it simple here to just compute it using the line items. The large language model can do that without us spending some Copilot credit on a flow. And then the step 8 that I do submission review. So call that submission is just a gated to make some double check and then make sure the user have the summary of that request that is trying to do and confirm. And then we have the submission. Like I said, I'm not calling this flow submit purchase request, but I have this skill that I have placed that will do the job using Dataverse MCP. There are a lot of tools, a lot of ways to do the same thing. And then step 10, I would say create the approval. I added the connector, create an approval, call the approval tool to send the details to the approval. Because on step 9, I say you need to get the approval name. Yes. So one thing that I need to double check that on each purchase request we have the PO, because a person can come on demand, a user asks about the status of the purchase request. Right now, the only field that I have that can play that role is the PO number. So I need to make sure that on the purchase request here, I need to make sure that each time we create PO, and I will double check for the last created one. If not, I will make sure to add a PO, a rule around adding PO. Or I can make it auto column as well. Auto number, yes. Prefix. I'll put PO. So that's how it will be. So once I add it, even if the agent forgets, the person will be given the PO and the person will be able to make some queries after. I just need to make sure that the agent has that. Let's test everything. And then hi, I would like to put on the purchase request. So I said it here that I think I have removed that step, but on the purchase intake call, it should be here where I ask it to call the work IQ user to get the name of the user. I don't see it. If it doesn't put my name, I will ask it to call that first. Oh, it says hi Phoebe. That means it's inside here. I think it's lost on my note, but it called my name here, so that means it has used that skill. It says, "Hi Phoebe, I'll be happy to help you to create." I will just put a code that I have here and it will use that. I will say use this code. Use this code items. Let's open the code so you know how it looks like. So this code is valid until August. And then it has the vendor name, it has everything, it has the total, so it's valid, it has the delivery, the warranty, and all the stuff. So those are the details. I have read the code. It has called I've read the code. There's still some item missing because based on this skill, I need to have all the items. The request type, I will just write. I will put, so let's make it simple first. Standard department operations, malware, justification really needed at the moment, required date August 14, 2026, priority low. It should be high, but I said low is required by August 14, so it's less than a month from now. So let's see what it says. Got it. Now let me confirm the line items. Say, do the category looks right? Yes. I've already attached the document, so I don't need it. So it's making a summary for me. The attachment is already there. I'll say yes. So now it's moving to step 2, to the vendor validation. If it's a valid vendor, on my next request, I will try a vendor that is blocked. To do that, I just need to change the vendor status to block. So it's calling this flow to check what are the files needed. So here we need minimum 2 written vendor codes as per that flow that I showed you before. So it says you are provider 1, you will need at least 1 more from a different vendor. So now it's even checking the quote review guidance, that file, to see the requirement for the code. It says you currently have 1 code, you need another one. So it's telling me what the code must contain. Please obtain a second written code. Once you have it, we can continue. You see, it's following all the steps. I will try to give a code that has nothing to do with this. Let's see what it says. Let me give first an expired codes. Let's see. Let me load these codes. This code, not only it is expired, but it's not even for the cooling because we need an HVAC cooling. I showed you the file is for HVAC portable precision cooling unit, emergency installation and commission level. But the new code that I uploaded here is for a different purpose. Let me open it for you. It's for an ERP training and ERP package quotation, so it's different purpose. So it's telling me I'm unable to accept this code for 2 reasons. The code is rejected. First of all, it's expired. The expiring date is July 15. We are already July 19. So this code has expired. And second is the wrong code. This is a code for cloud ERP software subscription. You need a second code that is from another HVAC precision, current and not expired, for comparable goods services. Now I will add another one from this, different but for the same vendor. I don't think that I have that. Let me add another vendor. I think this one too is for a different product. This one is for unit is split AC unit, is completely different product too. So it will flag that as well. Oh, these codes differ in quantity and specification. Both codes are valid, current from identifiable supplier code requirement. Okay, it's taking this code. Oh, this one is 4-time industrial, 5 ton each, AC unit. This one is cooling unit. I guess it says this code differ in quantity and specification. This one is portable unit. That one is for split AC unit. But it's following the guidance. So what it's doing is now moving on step 5 to check on duplicate. Like, is this request will be a duplicate? Does it exist already? It says no duplicate found. No existing standard request in the system. So what it does, it moves to the next step to get the approval route. It says that the maximum approval is this one, level 4, and then it submit for review. I say to use these submission skills. So it's showing me the details. I confirm. So what it will do, it's getting my ID. Oh no, shouldn't open this. I asked it to use Dataverse MCP. I need to add a step. Let me see first the result. Oh, it's creating the record. What is happening is that the files are not yet uploaded. I will add another step, create. I added these steps after. So let's see. I need to allow. This is the first time that I'm using this. It's trying to create an approval. Let's see what it says. Oh, the approval types. I need to give all those details. I will put the approval first to respond. So it's creating. She received it already, has been sent. I believe I have it because I have her account here. So now let's go back. See now, I will add it manually because it doesn't have the context since I just added it. Now do this step. In the meantime, while it does that, I will check Melissa to see if she has received it to approve. Yes, she received it. I wish I can show you guys. For some reason, when I share Microsoft Teams, it never shows the windows. I don't know why. That's so interesting. But I will approve it for her. I think I will wait to make the windows visible. Upload the file to select environment. Say upload the file. This tool couldn't run the request, missing info, or uses unsupported value. Yeah, it should add the file content. I need to create a flow that does this. It's much easier. You create a flow, you pass the file content, and you do it. This is just for a demo purpose that I do all this. That I do it here. No, it will not work with this method. I already checked like using init file upload with the Dataverse MCP. This doesn't work. I guess it will get stuck and it will come back. Yeah, I wanted to show you here. So I'm logged in as Melissa here, my colleague. So I will go to the right environment and I will pin the approval so it stay here. So this is that request. You can see that is the same one that we sent. A new standard request has been submitted and requires your approval. These are the line items. That's the grand total requested by, that's my name, that's the time, and that's the person. I will put approve and I will approve. So it has been approved. So we come back here. Uh, okay, so this is what we have. So what we were able to do, the next improvement that we will do to this agent is to write the flow that will upload the files to the right table. The rest has worked. We have approval, and we also write the Power Automate flow that sends notification. I need to show you. You need to write the Power Automate flow that sends the notification to procurement and the requested notification and the final status update. So those are the three Power Automate flow that we need to do. And this approval outcome handles also work uh, for advanced approvals where we have sequentials. For example, here we use the maximum level to approve, but we can use a sequential structure of process for approval. That means the level 1 approve, level 2, 3, until it goes to 4, but here we use the maximum. So that's why we need just one. In that case, we need the approval outcome handler. That means when somebody responds, we move to the next. Or when the highest level approve, we skip the rest and we move to the next one, or if there's no next one, we do the final status update, the requester notification and procurement notification. Yes. So now let's go back to our agents. First of all, let's go to the request table. Let's filter by created date. Okay, let me add a created date if it doesn't exist already. Created on. So I will filter that to get the latest one and make sure that we have a PO. I don't like this PO number. It doesn't have a PO number. Oh, okay. Let me see. Yeah, that's the one that was supposed to be PO. I think the agent has given some names, some weird names. That's why it didn't have a name because it says AD. I asked myself, what is AD? So it tells me that I need to modify the instructions of the agent. Yes. I will add submit purchase request. I will add a rule. Normally I should add it here, but this file I uploaded it so I cannot modify it for making the demo simple. I will modify it after. I will just add it here and I will add a rule, hard rule. Number 1, do not choose PO number when you do step 9 to submit a request. Let the system populate that field, but grab the result after creation and display it to the user because they will need it later to do status check. So let's save this and we'll make a new request. So this time I will modify that same article. I will block it and I will try to create the same request. I will also use maybe Cloud Bridge for that ERP. I will block it too. Let's block it too, Cloud Bridge. We will see what happens when we block. Let's wait until it finishes to publish. Yes, it's published. I would say I will take the same one for now. I would say I would like to create to submit this request. So first of all, it will grab the details for me. It will read it, grab the details, and then when it will check the vendor name, it will tell me that, hey, this vendor is blocked, so try another one. So it's loading that skill, the purchase request intake. This time I will say so. It's suggesting emergency. Okay, let's take that. It's asking me to confirm the vendor. We say IT. Oh, that's a wrong. um, that's the wrong one, but yeah. Say good to go, everything is correct. Move forward. You already have the file. What do you guys think? Do you think that there's a lot of review, or do you think it should already move at this moment instead of verifying all this? I believe those gates are really necessary. If not, we will have some bad entries since it's automated, it's an agent. So it's telling me, hey, this vendor is blocked. Cannot be submitted for blocked vendor. Use a different vendor. Would you like to proceed with a different vendor? I would say yes. So let's do a different vendor, guys. Let's use this vendor. Let's try a different vendor. I hope I have this Nextcloud already here, because if I don't have the vendor here, it will not work. Yes, I have Nextcloud and OmniSuite. That's them that will check. So it's reading the quotes. So I said I want to keep those metadata same. I will say yes, move ahead. Vendor validation, this one exists. This vendor is approved, so you can move to the next step. It's checking the required document. Wow, this time I need some formal competitive code plus procurement sign off and an emergency purchase form. I was not prepared for this, guys, so I don't have them. So I will need to create them using AI. So I have it told me I have an agent that I use that helps me to build other agent and do the architecture. I call it my agent solution architect. Yes, it's very long. It helps me to design my agents. I tell it you are senior Copilot, Microsoft Copilot Studio and Power Platform Solution Architect. I give the authoring experience. I give how the new parent agent is, how a connected agent. I gave the structure, how it looks here. I gave all the information so it helps me to design my agent. So I will use it to get those files because I'm stuck with that. So it's telling me I need an emergency purchase form and I need a formal competitive quote. Okay, let's do it. So I will use my agent solution architect to upload that. This is the code that I have. Give me equivalent emergency purchase form in so I can use it in my purchase request agent. The format, I don't know. Yes, the format is PDF. So my agent solution architect will do its magic, guys. This is fantastic. I love it. It will do it. So it's telling me I have all the details from the quotes. Let me generate two requirement document, emergency purchase form, and yeah, formal competitive quotes plus procurement sign off. Let's wait. And it's using the report lab. Report lab, I believe it is not a plugin, it is a library, a Python library that it uses for PDF. It uses for PDF. But we need to wait because we are stuck there. It has checked this policy, our compliance policy for quote review, this one, and it's telling me that this is what I did good. I have the warranty, I have assumption, exclusion, I have those. But now I need the emergency form and I need the formal competitive quotes plus sign off before moving forward. So let's get those. Might take some time. I will pause the video and come back. So I got the files and I will add them here. So it's reading the files in parallel and reviewing them against the policy's requirements. It's telling me that the signatures are blank, so it's not taking it. This obtain required signatures and we upload signed versions. Would you like to proceed once you have them, or do you have any questions in the meantime? Let's proceed first, and I will add then later. Understood, noted that signature are pending. Let me get approval right now. So this is the form, the competitive, yes, the competitive quotes. We just need to sign. I haven't signed anything. And this one, no, this one is the wrong one. And this one is the emergency authorization form. So globally, that's how the agent work. I'll just need to publish it to production now. I might do another video to publish it to production and to have a monitoring. Submit purchase request is calling the submit purchase request flow instead of using. Okay, now it's using the right one. It was using the flow instead of the skill. So globally, that's how it works. Let me know what you think. See, with those instructions, as simple as that, and with these skills, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 skills. And we have these tools as well that we use, and very powerful. Let me remove work IQ team. I haven't used that here. And we have a good agent working. Let me know what you think. I have had some problem with the evaluation because once I run the evaluation, for example, I say I need to create a standard purchase request for 10 office tags from this company, from this vendor at this price each. It always asks me for permission, and that makes my my evaluation queries failing. Even though if I go back to evaluation and I click on the evaluate the test cases, I've already put my name here and I'm logged in and I'm connected, but it still asks when I click on evaluate, when I run the evaluation, it still asks for my uh for my login, for my connection into the connectors. Let me know if you have had that issue before and how you dealt about it, and it will help me to improve this agent as well. But globally, it's doing its work. Might make a video where I deploy it to production because this is a development environment, and I need to improve these evaluations. It's not been working just because of those permission required. It's just giving me a really hard time. How do you deal about this evaluation? Please let me know. And thank you. See you on the next video. Ciao.